It's finally happening. This horribly ugly wall, chock full of electrical and plumbing, is going away today. Don't get us wrong, we're insanely proud of this wall. It was the first wall that we actually stick built in the house. And it's got our bathroom, and we had to do electrical and plumbing and a lot in this wall. So this wall, probably one of the most complicated walls in our house, except for the kitchen wall, which will be a notch crazier. But we're excited to see all that stuff go away and for our cabinets to finally end up there and have our dream kitchenette complete. If you're just joining us, this isn't really a cabinet building video. We're not going to do anything with cabinets today. It's all about getting the wall prepped to install the cabinets. But in case you're curious about the project, jump back and follow us along as we started with plywood and we built all of our own cabinet boxes, drawers. We actually built our own countertop. We did all of our own hardware install and all that stuff. We're waiting right now for the paint to complete on all the face frames, doors, and drawer fronts. And then we're also waiting on the epoxy on our butcher block top. So we got lots of waiting going on, which is a great time to knock this guy out. That way when it's all ready to go, we're ready to install. I have no idea if that's how you're supposed to do that. I've never really spent a lot of time around insulation, and I don't know about you guys, but have you ever noticed that when you watch tutorials on YouTube, they always use an empty wall that has like nothing in it, and they're like, all right, so what you do is, and I'm like, yeah, no, and if you read the comments, everyone agrees, yeah, that's not a normal wall. That's not a wall that you would actually have in a house. So this kind of feels like a mess. It sort of looks like a mess, but once it's covered up, nobody will know. It's already a lot quieter in there. Using the restroom, no one knows. It's exciting. So I'm kind of hoping that overall that makes the bathroom a little quieter. And some of this, I think, for me, is just a test run to see if all this insulating interior walls, which is abnormal in more budget homes anyway, is really worth it. Does it make the house that much more comfortable? I can tell you that sheetrock over sheetrock is really loud. Every time somebody closes a door or, you know, lets out a fart, everybody knows, okay? All right, so we're using rock wool, which is a basaltic product. It's actually made from minerals, from rocks, and they get it into this fiber form. So this is not fiberglass bats. And there's a couple extra benefits to this. One, it can't mold or mildew because it's rock, and therefore it's very resistive to mildew or any kind of water damage type growth. The other benefit is it's fireproof because it's rock, so it doesn't ignite quickly. So from a fire perspective, it should help with that. And then of course it has R value, which we're not really after on the interior walls because we don't worry about heat loss. But the other benefit is sound. And this company makes a product called Safe and Sound. I really don't know what the difference is between this stuff and the Safe and Sound. To me, it all looks the same, and this is what they actually have available locally. So this is what we purchased. I think we're ready for sheetrock. The only thing is, when we laid out this bathroom from a floor plan perspective, we wanted it to have an 8-foot interior dimension. So the outside dimensions are a bit of a nuisance because one sheet of sheetrock won't quite cover the entire wall. We'll make it work. We've got a plan to make it all work. The lower sheet is going to be a Swiss cheese project. We have so many penetrations in this sheet. It's probably going to take us longer to get this one sheet cut than to do the entire rest of the project. To help make our lives a little easier for that, I tried to make sure that the top of these boxes is 4 feet on the money. So all we have to do is notch the top of this sheet for that, and then the second sheet will actually come right down on top of it, and that'll save us a lot of kind of punching holes. But then of course we've got just a few penetrations in the upper sheet there. Where things get really complicated is all the plumbing. We've got a clean out down there, that's got to be accessible. We have the drain for the sink, and the sink stops, and then of course the washing machine and the ice maker. It's a lot going on in this wall. In the past, when Alyssa and I did the sheetrock on the bathroom, we used a keyhole saw, or I mean there's a million names for it. You basically mark your holes, you punch through the sheetrock, and away you go. The thing is, it really boogers up the paper, and it's really aggressive, which is good because it cuts quickly, but it's pretty brutal. And the penetrations that you cut in there are they're just rough. We're gonna try something different. As part of the estate sale, the tool lot that we purchased a couple of years ago is a cutout tool. And this is not a RotoZip, it's a a porter cable. And I'm not really sure if this is really made for this particular task, but we're gonna give it a shot. Hopefully this will A, speed up the process, B, make cleaner cuts, and it should give us the ability to kind of just take a little bit more out, where trying to do that with the keyhole saw, you just make a horrible mess. All right, so we're starting on the far right. Already almost made a huge mistake. Of course, we have more sheetrock so we can fix it, but we try to keep the sheetrock 1/2 inch off the floor so that it's not near moisture. It doesn't, if there is water on the floor, it doesn't wick into the sheetrock. And all the measurements we're pulling are from the floor, and I forgot to add the 1/2 inch that we're gonna move the sheetrock up. So it almost cut all the penetrations off by 1/2 inch. This is not going well. So I already screwed them up by putting them 1/2 inch in the wrong direction, and now I put them 1/2 inch in the wrong direction again. So now we need to lower these by 1 inch, otherwise they're gonna be 1 inch too high. And I've already made all kinds of bullseyes, so whoever can interpret this, like, good luck. Well, that really sucked. You pretty much can't see your lines, and the bit really wants to like get excited. It's a big bit for going through sheetrock, and yeah, it just boogers the edge of the sheetrock just as bad, or worse, almost worse than the keyhole saw. So pretty much all the advantages we were hoping to find from that cutout tool are pretty much non-existent. So we've been using this tool for a lot of random stuff. We actually bought it for a totally different purpose, but we have found its many purposes are plentiful. And I'm just curious if this tool will knock this out super quick. I'm sure there's times where you can basically just hang sheetrock and just go around and either use a cutout tool around your door frame or your window or whatever. But sometimes you need to plunge in, and I'm kind of curious if this will work really good or really bad. Wow, that's pretty great. That's fast, easy. All right, that went pretty good. Let's try it again here. This might be more difficult with this particular bit. So why don't we try this one instead. Great. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. That definitely beats the heck out of a keyhole saw. If you haven't ever used a keyhole saw on sheetrock, boy oh boy, is it not fun. And I have a hunch we're gonna be recutting this sheet because I can't measure today. And so I'd like to find a more efficient way to cut. That way when we have to do things twice, it goes way faster. Oh, my gut was right. That sucked. It fits better than I expected it to. We were able to just touch up a little bit on the wall, which is not, I think that's a good thing. It kind of looks silly, but I'd rather have that than have huge gaps, you know, around the boxes. Of course, to me, this is learning. Like, this wall is gonna get completely covered up between cabinets and backsplash and everything. There will be no sheetrock accessible. Well, that's not true. The dryer and washer are gonna cover this, so you could get back there to access the shower valve and all that stuff. But my point is, like, I'm more practicing trying to be tight with sheetrock so that if we do it in the house, we don't have huge gaps around all of our boxes and everything, which we had that problem in the bathroom, and I believe it's a very common problem for DIY drywallers. We just don't have a system to get this stuff super tight. So we've got to get the sheetrock up here. We're wanting to go around the corner, at least get up and over the door, and then we're hoping to put 3 sheets on the wall right here. And Alyssa's told me she's hungry, which means dinner has to happen soon. So I better get my butt moving. One more piece and then we're done-ish for the night, sort of. Well, there it is. Didn't get as far today as I really wanted to. It felt like today just kind of went slow, but in a good way, if that makes any sense. It felt really tedious just getting going. I think what maybe I didn't factor into my plan today was how much time it would take to take everything apart and get it ready to start putting things back together. That definitely took a lot longer than I thought. Maybe because we live here and like you have to put things, you know, in place to live here. So anyway, we didn't get the mudding done. We did not get the taping done. We definitely banged up a bunch of sheetrock and made some damage. I think what I'll do is I'll probably spend another day getting this stuff all taped, mudded, get some of the holes fixed, things like that. We are waiting on the epoxy for the top. We are waiting on the face frames, so it's good to get this stuff done. There's not going to be any of this stuff in the kitchen or this wall exposed. The walls will be covered in plywood, finished grade plywood, and then this thing's going to be either covered in cabinets or backsplash. But we still need to get all the screw holes filled and get all the joints taped and all that stuff. I think primarily the reason for that is fire. And I think it does add some strength to things. Of course, the corner over here, that's going to need to be taped properly because it's actually going to be visible. That's a whole different conversation. You guys will see. I kind of have a plan for that. I definitely have a new favorite tool for sheetrock. I have had people email and message and things saying that these things are great for sheetrock. I think we owned this when we did the bathroom and we were using the keyhole saw, but I'm not sure why it didn't cross my mind to try it out, but either way it didn't. And today we can confirm this thing is rad. It's super precise, so precise that you can just do a quick touch up if you need a box to fit and it doesn't quite fit. So that's really nice. And of course it doesn't booger up the sheetrock nearly as bad as that rotary tool that we have. I don't have the one that everybody recommends. I'm not really sure if we're gonna buy one or not, but this guy definitely works, but you need a couple of different blades to make it work super good. I'm excited to have that in my skill set and my toolbox now. I remember late in the SIP installation when we bought these screw guns, and every single time I use them I am super flippin' happy that we have them because it makes putting screws in super easy. Once you get the depth adjustment correct and you kind of have the right finesse, it's a piece of cake. We do have two separate guns because there's actually a different barrel for two different screw lengths, and so this one is set up for the sheetrock length, and we end up with two guns and two separate barrels. One so we could shoot deck length screws, and it comes in super handy for all those things. So if you guys don't have one of these in your toolbox and you find yourself doing work like this, give these things a look. They are sweet. When I was setting up my plan for this project, I guessed that doing wall prep would take me about 3 days, and we're actually right on track. It felt like we should have gotten farther today, but because of all the moving electrical and the other little housekeeping items, that was a full day in and of itself, getting things buttoned up. And then today, obviously, we got this far, and I think one more day, mud, tape, get some paint and primer on some of this stuff to protect it. That'll be pretty close to ready for cabinets. Alyssa hasn't even seen this yet, and I'm pretty sure when she walks down here in the morning, she's probably gonna have a heart attack and wonder what planet she's on, and wonder where all the electrical cords are and where all the studs are. I'm not sure if I can catch her reaction, but if I can, I will, okay?
I've tried really hard to not look this morning.
Right?
I've seen little peaks.
Oh man. What do you think?
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Wow. Looks so polished, doesn't it?
Yeah. Should we paint studs right there and then put some yellow lines and some orange lines and stuff so it feels more homey?
It's so crazy. I think the biggest transformation, like at that wall,
yeah,
so finished looking. We finally have our door foamed.
Yeah.
We actually have privacy in the bathroom.
Right? Oh, you wanted privacy in the bathroom. Oh,
Right,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
And then so many little holes to cut around.
Yeah.
Kind of takes me back to, it was a year ago now, we were cutting all the drywall for the bathroom.
Yep. We did a lot better job this time. Our second stint was much better.
You went pretty far on the ICF side.
Yep, I wanted to make sure that we had lots of finished wall over there and we can paint it to protect it before we put the plywood up and all that, so.
Nice job, love.
Thanks. It's gonna look good with cabinets on it, huh? It's gonna look like a kitchen and the laundry, and it's gonna feel like a house, even if it's just a corner.
A little like sanctuary of finishedness.
Yep, just spend as much time over here as you can.
Yep.